project we were working on here this morning is to replace some of the garden boxes in the flower garden here. Built these originally around about 9 years ago now, and they were built out of reject timber for the house. So the quality of the timber wasn't good and it was untreated hardwood, and you'll see now it is beginning to rot and fall apart, so it starts to look a bit unsightly. So we're going to take these out and replace them with some new timber. Thankfully, I built these boxes using galvanised batten screws, and they're coming out fairly good, mostly still some galvanising on them, so they'll be able to be reused to, you know, somewhere in some project. Yeah. So, good thing to build with.
This is a big Yes, this is a hard work, my dad. Still. Daddy! Wow! A snail!
What's that?
A snail shell.
Yes, snail.
Snail shell. Watch out for the snail. Snail's done it.
The timber that we have chosen to replace these boxes, the edges, is a treated pine that has been impregnated with iron oxide to colour it. They claim that it will be colour fast for up to 25 years, so we hope that's the case. We hope it lasts a lot longer than the last lot. The process of putting these in is a little more difficult than if you are building garden beds from scratch, because I've got to worry about the plants and be a little bit careful about their roots. What I'm going to do is dig a groove along here to fit the boards down into, so that they go a little into the soil below the grass level. So having marked it, I will dig with a spade and cut in a little, using the board as a guide.
Dad?
Yes, listen.
I'm going to be careful because remember there's plants on there.
That's right, you have to be careful of the plants. Some of them unfortunately might get their roots cut. So again, on the inside, cutting down, being careful of the plants, but I do have to cut them back a little bit because the roots and the soil has pushed into the previous board where it was rotting, so I do have to cut it back a bit, which is a shame, but this has to happen. The trenching shovel is perfect for the job. On this side I have the same problem with lots of plants in the road. It seems they like to grow as close as they can to the edge at times, especially the self-sown ones.
I can do it. A big honey today.
Now that I've dug it out, I can try it for fit. And I'm trying to get a little bit extra height with these than we had previously, because what we find is that you tend to add compost and that type of thing to your garden bed and it slowly gains height. And we had a situation where really the boxes weren't as high as they should be. This stuff starts to fall over the edge. So it's good for us to gain that little extra height, probably another 50 millimetres, a couple of inches out of the boxes this time. So we're going to have to add a little bit to the bottom here, and this one also has to have a fair bit added to bring it up along this side. So I need to cut another board up, slice it down to add to these. Now obviously on this side I have to add a piece on the end. Unfortunately this particular treaded pine only comes in 3 metre lengths and they don't have longer lengths, so I have to join a couple together. I'll have to cut the length that I need to get it the extra distance. And I'll also need to add a bit to the bottom to get some extra height here. I'm going to add this piece onto the bottom of this section to bring it up to height. Only on one end does it have to come up, so this short piece will do the job very nicely. So I will drill through it and put some batten screws in to hold it on. Just 2 screws should be sufficient to hold that. So now I'll just have to dig the front there to drop it down and allow it to come in. Well, that's pretty close to level now, and I can use that one as my reference. So on this side I have to add a whole 100 millimeters to the bottom. So I've split one right down the middle. Now I've only got 125 millimeter or 5-inch batten screws, they're the longest I have. So that's not going to give me much bite, so to achieve more I'm going to countersink them with the spade bit so that they go in further and give me more bite. So that now adds it on nice and firm all the way. Perfect. On this long side of the triangular bed I have cut the ends to a 45 degree and also joined the 2 pieces with just a piece of 1-inch treated pine on the back. That will be on the inside so you won't see it. And again I've got to add a piece to the bottom to bring it up to height just on one end. This piece on the bottom of course will strengthen the joint considerably. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Time to screw off the corners. I always tend to pre-drill even though this pine's fairly soft. I think it just makes it a bit faster on the cordless, use a little less power. I'm using 100mm galvanised batten screws here on these corners. It should hold it together. Given how well the last one stood up, I think these should last quite a while. So that's stage one of the project complete. The garden is looking quite nice with the autumn colours, with some wisteria showing its autumn. Not so many flowers this time of year, but they'll come in the springtime.